The man suddenly sees a dazzling glare streak across the sky. Immediately after, dozens of spaceships descend on Pandora, their spewing flames scorching the fertile land. Only then do they realize with shock humans from Earth have invaded again. In the events of the first Avatar film, Jake helped the Navy drive the Sky People out of Pandora. He chose to stay here, serving as the chief of the Omataya clan. Having abandoned his human body, he permanently transferred his consciousness into his avatar. More than a decade passes in the blink of an eye, and now Jake and Neytiri are parents to 4 children. Their eldest son, Nadiam, is obedient and sensible, deeply loved by his parents. The second son, Loak, has a fiery temper and refuses to obey discipline. The youngest daughter, Tuk, is innocent and playful. Among them, their adopted daughter, Kiri, has a special identity. She was born from Dr. Grace's avatar body, yet the identity of her biological father remains a mystery to this day. There is also a human boy named Spider living with them. He is the son of the late Colonel Quaritch. When the Sky People were driven away last time, he was just an infant, unable to enter the cryogenic chamber, so he was left on Pandora. With Earth on the verge of collapse, the Sky People plan to conquer Pandora and establish a new home here. So Jake leads his clansmen to launch constant raids and sabotages, seizing some weapons and equipment along the way. To deal with Jake, the Sky People specially form an Avatar army. It turns out that before the great battle in the first film, the Colonel transferred all his memories and personality into a clone. He will also take over the Colonel's mission to avenge Jake. He arrives at the forest, where he dueled Jake more than a decade ago with several subordinates. Seeing the remains of his previous life, he flies into a rage and crushes his own skull with one hand. Coincidentally, Jake's children are playing nearby. The Colonel grabs them in one go, forcing them to reveal Jake's whereabouts. The children refuse to give in, saying nothing. After receiving the distress call, Jake and Neytiri rush to the forest, launching an attack to divert attention. The children take the opportunity to escape. However, Spider is thrown to the ground by the shockwave. At this moment, Sky People reinforcement troops arrive, and Jake's family has to go into hiding. The Colonel captures Spider and returns to his base. Jake takes his family back to the clan quickly, planning to move. He knows the Colonel is here for him, and he also fears that Spider might reveal their hiding place, which would put all the clansmen in danger. So Jake abdicates the chieftain position to someone else, and has no choice but to take his family away from this beautiful jungle. They fly for several days, reaching a sea area with thousands of islands to seek refuge. The Metkawina clan lives here. They are a different clan from Jake's family, with greener skin and thicker tails. Thanks to his achievement of defeating the Sky People, the clan leader Tonowari agrees to let Jake's family stay and settle down. Jake's family used to live in a jungle environment, and their survival skills are completely useless here. So the Metkayina teach the family to swim, ride as us, and master the laws of survival in the ocean. But not everyone is willing to accept outsiders. As soon as Tonowari's son Anon sees that Loak, Jack's second son, has 5 fingers, he knows he has Sky People genes. In fact, pure Navi only have 4 fingers. Jake's children inevitably suffer bullying because of their bloodline. Under the pretense of fishing, Anon lures Lojak to dangerous waters and dives into the deep sea. When Loak surfaces, the others have long since disappeared without a trace. A ferocious shark suddenly attacks Loak. A much larger creature rushes over to save him. This creature is a toucan named Payatan. Loak feels the kindness emanating from Payakan and helps pull out the harpoon stuck in his fin. A friendship is thus formed between the two. Meanwhile, Spider is enduring harsh torture from the general, yet he still refuses to disclose any information about Jake's family. The Colonel can't stand to watch and shuts down the machine. In fact, he recognized Spider as the son of his human self the first time they met. Even though he's a clone, strictly speaking, Spider isn't technically his son. Their paternal bond can be severed, and he can't turn a blind eye to Spider's suffering. The Colonel takes Spider away from the base. This time, he plans to follow Jake's old playbook, fully integrate into the Navi way of life. Only then can he take down Jake's entire family once and for all. Forced into compliance, Spider leads them to the Ikran nesting ground. Before long, the Colonel tames an Ikran with sheer courage and perseverance. Spider can't help but look at him with a hint of admiration. On the other side, Tanawari's daughter takes Jake's children to the Cove of the Ancestors, a sacred site for the Reef clan. Beneath the waves lies a tree of souls. Kiri brings her neural cue to connect with the tree, longing to communicate with Iwa, but suddenly suffers a violent seizure. Desperate to save his adopted daughter, Jake has no choice but to contact his human friend at the lab for help. Little does he know, this single move will put everyone in mortal danger. The helicopter carrying his friend is detected by the Colonel's forces. The Colonel deduces Jake's approximate location and heads there to search, but the area is dotted with hundreds of islands and villages, yet find no trace of Jake whatsoever. So the Colonel hatches a trap to flush Jake out, hunt the toucan. The Reef Na'vi share a profound lifelong bond with the toucan. Killing one is like murdering a member of their own family. The Colonel commandeers a toucan hunting ship. They blow open a passage through the toucan's mouth to its skull and extract a vial of yellow fluid. It's a substance that effectively halts human aging. A single vial is worth $80 million. That's why the Sky People hunt the toucan relentlessly. The Colonel deliberately dumps the toucan's corpse back into the ocean as bait. Soon enough, the Metkayina clansmen discover the body. Jake spots a tracker embedded in the toucan's flesh and realizes it's the Colonel's doing. He warns the Reef clan that any toucan hit by these trackers is doomed to die. Tanawari immediately orders his people to warn all toucan to stay away from the devices. Lo and his siblings swim out to the open ocean to alert Payakan, but they are too late. Payakan has already been hit by a tracker. The Colonel's ship is closing in fast on the horizon. Lo immediately radios his father back at the clan, begging him to send help right away. Everyone grabs their weapons. The Colonel's men capture the children and tie them to the ship's railings as hostages. Moments later, the clansmen arrive at the scene. Using the children as leverage, the Colonel forces Jake to come aboard a ship by himself for talks, threatening to kill the kids if he refuses. At that critical moment, Payapem breaches the surface and slams straight into the ship's deck. Its thick, tough hide is impervious to bullets. Meanwhile, Jake and the others mount their ski wings and launch a fierce attack on the vessel. Nadiam seizes the chance to board the deck and unties his siblings. He tries to lead them to safety, but Loak refuses to leave. He's determined to rescue Spider. They locate Spider and make a run for it, but come under heavy fire during their escape. Nadiam is shot and dies tragically. Blinded by vengeance, Neytiri fights like a warrior possessed, even breaking her bow in the heat of battle. Seeing that the tide is turning, the Colonel grabs Kiri to threaten Jake and Neytiri. In a desperate gambit, Neytiri grabs Spider, offering a hostage swap. The Colonel claims he doesn't care if Spider dies. Without hesitation, Neytiri slashes Spider's chest. The Colonel finally caves in and releases Kiri. Jake and the Colonel engage in a brutal hand-to-hand fight. Jake finally manages to lock the Colonel in a chokehold, knocking him unconscious. The Colonel sinks towards the ocean floor. Spider initially tries to flee, but when he spots the unconscious Colonel, he can't bring himself to leave him. A blood tie he can't deny compels him to act. In the end, he rescues the Colonel. Kiri uses her powers to command marine bioluminescent creatures, which light up the entire cargo hold. With the help of these magical beings, she manages to rescue her mother and little sister from the sinking ship. The family collapses into each other's arms, exhausted and broken, but Netiam is gone forever. He will never get to share this moment of reunion. Spider drags the Colonel onto a rock jutting out of the sea. When the Colonel regains consciousness, he urges Spider to come with him. The Spider flatly refuses. He chooses to return to Jake's family.